First you hear it, a strange whistle floating in the night, loud, close, and you think you're safe.
But when it sounds faint, distant, the dogs begin to bark furiously. They feel it. They know he's already behind you.
He leans over you, slits open your stomach with a single sharp blow, while the dogs howl like mad, unable to stop him.
He drinks the alcohol from your entrails like a thirsty dog, and when nothing is left, he reaches in and rips out your bones, one by one.
And you, without bones, without soul, you join his cursed sack, while outside, the dogs bark in despair, reminding the world that Silbón has already chosen his next victim.
Oh yeah, that's so bad.
Years ago, we met an old llanero who swore he had felt Silbón in the flesh. He was alone on his farm, lying in his hammock when the night began to change.
The dogs were the first to notice. They barked as if they were staring at the devil himself. And then, the whistle.
First loud, right at his ear, then faint, as if coming from the other end of the plain.
The old man stood up, machete in hand, and there, in the mist, he managed to glimpse a shadow, towering, skeletal.
And then, ha ha ha, you won't believe. In the endless plains of Venezuela, land of cattle, of silence, of horizons without end, a story was born that still chills the blood. A story that, some say, never truly ended.
Ha! Because Silbón is still out there, he's not a dead myth, Charles. He's a tall, skeletal specter with arms as long as dry branches and a sack on his back, heavy, full of bones. You know which bones, don't you?
Those of his own father.
What a devoted son.
But he wasn't always a monster. Once he was a young man, a boy marked by anger and tragedy. Some call him Juan, others never gave him a name. What is certain is that one dark night he killed his father. Some say it was out of whim, because the man didn't bring the deer he wanted for dinner. Others say it was for love, that the father murdered the woman the boy loved. A prostitute, and in vengeance the son raised his hand against the blood that begot him.
And there are even more twisted versions, Charles, that the father stained the honor of his own daughter-in-law. That lust unleashed the hatred. See, the story changes with every mouth that tells it, but they all end the same.
Condemnation. The grandfather, horrified by the crime, cursed him. He tied him, flogged him until his skin was torn apart. When the flesh was open, he poured burning liquor into the wounds. The sting burned more than the whip. And afterward, he threw him to the dogs.
Rabid dogs. Hungry. They finished the job. They tore him apart. And what came out of that butchery was no longer human.
Since then, he wanders through Los Llanos. Tall, thin, a shadow in human form, carrying the sack of his father's bones. and always, always whistling.
His whistle, that damned whistle that deceives. If you hear it loud, you can breathe easy. It means he's still far away. But if you barely hear it, faint, lost in the distance.
It's because he's already behind you.
Some say he's Colombian, others Venezuelan. But ask any farmer of the plains. Here, in these lands, everyone has felt, at least once, that the air carries a strange whistle. And believe me, no one wants to find out where it comes from.
But to understand El Silbón, it's not enough to talk about his curse. We must look at the stage where he was born, because a monster does not appear out of nowhere.
Exactly, Charles. He doesn't rise from the night like thunder. He feeds on the land, the wind, the stories whispered when darkness falls.
His damnation is tied to a place, a vast, relentless place, where the echo of a whistle can travel for miles without finding a wall to stop it.
Los Llanos, the kingdom of solitude, where even silence is afraid.
Los Llanos, an endless land stretching between Venezuela and Colombia, a sea of savannas, wide rivers, and skies that seem to have no end.
A beautiful place by day, but when night falls, Charles, beauty turns into damnation, because solitude weighs heavy, and silence is not silence. It's an echo waiting to be filled with something.
And that something is the whistle. Entire generations have grown up afraid of hearing it. A single note lost in the darkness that freezes the blood of anyone who dared to walk across those plains.
In Venezuela, this story is not just a tale. It is identity. It is warning. It is inherited terror. And even today, there are those who swear they've felt the whistle cut through the night.
But fear never stays still. It transforms. It changes skin like an animal that refuses to die.
And what was once a whisper by the fire ended up escaping the huts and the dark roads. El Silbón ceased to be just a ghost of the plains.
And became a symbol. A monster that crossed from intimate fear to collective memory. Before, El Silbón was a tale by the fireside, a warning whispered. Parents used it to scare disobedient children, to correct womanizers, to rein in drunkards.
A punishment turned legend, see? If you drank too much, El Silbón would come for you. If you played with other men's women, El Silbón would find you. He was an invisible whip, always present in the darkness.
But time changed everything. Fire no longer belonged only to the knights of the plains. It became folklore. The monster of bones and whistles stepped out of the shadows.
Today, you see him in festivals, in songs, even in movies. What once froze blood in the countryside now is celebrated in plazas and theaters. They even mention him in political speeches.
That's right. What was born as pure terror is now tradition. But beware.
Because deep down, it's still a warning, an admonition. And when the whistle is heard again in the night, no festival will save you.
Through bonfires, festivals, and speeches, El Silbón has changed shape 1,000 times.
But in the end, the same shadow remains, the same enigma no one can answer.
And then comes the real question, the one no one has been able to answer.
Who was El Silbón really?
A cursed spirit for his own crimes, condemned to wander with his father's bones.
Or an invention of the llaneros, a perfect story to control morality, to punish womanizers and terrified drunkards.
Or perhaps something darker, the reflection of violence, of the historical tragedies that scarred this land of blood and solitude.
Whatever he is, he still whistles, and his whistle knows no borders.
Questions, there are many. Answers, almost none. And yet, each generation tries to explain El Silbón in its own way.
Some swear him as absolute truth. Others spit him out as a mere tale. And between those voices, the myth breathes, reshapes, and never dies.
For many peasants, El Silbón is real. Even today, under the full moon, they swear they've heard his whistle cutting across the plain.
And they don't say it as a joke, Charles. They say it with fear in their eyes, as if that echo had brushed against their skin.
But others laugh. They call it a myth, a simple tale invented to scare children, to warn womanizers, to tame drunkards.
You know, an invisible whip made of whistles. An excuse for morality to sound louder than sin.
And yet, historians suspect something else. That it all began with a real crime. That around 1850, a young man killed his father in a fit of rage.
A murder of flesh and bone, turned by the community into eternal legend. A tragedy transformed into a ghost. A man who never stopped killing, not even after death.
Each version tries to give it meaning, but none explains it completely.
And it is there where the real contradiction is born.
The contradiction is brutal. El Silbón is not just a ghost who punishes. He is the reflection of human sins themselves: parasite, vengeance, alcohol, and lust.
A son who kills his father. A grandfather who sentences with fire and dogs. A spirit that hunts drunkards and womanizers. He is not an invented monster, Charles. He is a mirror.
An uncomfortable mirror. It shows us the worst of ourselves.
So tell me, is he truly a cursed creature? Or just the voice of our guilt, walking at night with a whistle that never stops?
What truly chills the blood are not the versions of the myth. It's the details. The way El Silbón marks his victims.
When he finds a drunk, he doesn't just kill him. No, he kneels beside him, slits open his stomach, and drinks the alcohol from his entrails as if sipping from a forbidden cup. And when not a single drop remains, he reaches in and rips out the bones, one by one.
Without bones, there is no rest. The soul is trapped, condemned to wander with him. Punishment worse than death.
And his whistle? That is his favorite game. Because if you hear it loud, close to your ear, you're still safe. But if you hear it faint, distant, as if lost in the mist,
it means he's already behind you.
And still, Charles, they celebrate him. Since 1974, there has been a music festival in Venezuela that honors El Silbón as part of llanero folklore.
A monster turned into song. A curse transformed into popular festivity.
Even Chavez named him in a 2003 speech. Politics, culture, music, all ended up feeding on that cursed whistle.
Ish El Silbón stopped being just a specter in the dark. Now he is myth. He is warning. He is spectacle. But don't forget this.
When the party ends and the lights go out, his whistle is still there, searching for another victim.
Do you remember the old llanero in the hammock? He wasn't a saint. Everyone knew him as a womanizer, drunkard, brawler. He carried on his skin the very sins that attract El Silbón.
And that night, the monster chose him, not by chance, but because damnation always finds its own. El Silbón tore him open from the belly, and the air filled with an unbearable stench. Rancid liquor, blood, fear. He drank it greedily, like a dog lapping dirty water in the middle of the desert.
And the bones, one by one, they cracked as they came loose. The old man screamed, but his voice died with each crunch, until nothing remained except flesh on the ground and a sack that sounded heavier.
When dawn came, only the blood-stained hammock remained, still swaying in the wind, and a whistle, faint, distant, reminding everyone in the plains that the sack will never be full.